Okay. My name is Clement Tulezi. I'm the CEO of Kenya Flower Council. Kenya Flower Council is the organization that organizes the flower sector and ornamental sector in Kenya. We are a membership organization, but we also manage and run a certification scheme, where all growers and exporters are certified, and through that they're able to access the market. The floriculture subsector in Kenya is actually private sector driven, and therefore when you are talking about flowers and ornamentals in Kenya, you're talking about Kenya Flower Council. We are happy that we support growers right from production all the way to the market and in between. We are the voice of the sector. We represent them, all the growers and exporters, and we make sure that we remain as competitive as possible in the market. We also look at matters of quality and many other aspects that are important, including sustainability in the market. The floriculture subsector has grown from a very small sector in Kenya back in the 1980s to now one of the two major export sectors in Kenya. As floriculture, we are number 2 to tea, just behind tea, but as the horticulture, fresh produce, we are number 1 sector together with fruits and veg. We are number 1 in terms both of volumes and also in terms of value. If you look at the figures that we have posted over the years, I think it's been very impressive. Double digits almost every year, and we are a really growing sector. We will say that we are the fastest growing sector in Kenya. In 2021, we managed to generate, as floriculture subsector, we managed to generate over 110 billion Kenya shillings. We exported over 210,000 tons of flowers to more than 100 destinations all over the globe. Kenya is a major player in the floriculture subsector. We are among the top 3 producers of cut flowers and ornamentals, and in terms of export, we are among the top 4 export countries in the world. And so we pride ourselves and we want to remain there. We are organized under Kenya Flower Council, being able to manage all the way from production to the market, as I said. And in between, we support with linking with government and other players within our supply chain. We provide support in terms of our lobbying, our advocacy, our communication, innovation within the sector. We do a lot of communication. We link to the market. We are able to look at matters to do with regulation, trade treaties in the market. We are also able to create a positive image of our produce in the market. And generally, we are well linked with buyers and buyer associations and supermarkets and even florists within the different markets. A lot of our produce goes to Europe. Europe accounts close to 70% of all our floriculture export. The rest of the 30% goes to many other destinations. In total, over 100 destinations where we export, and we are determined to grow every day. Today we are talking about a sector that is very progressive. We are looking at all aspects, especially on sustainability, both from a governance perspective, but also from an environment perspective and also social perspective and good actual practices. We know that environment is an important aspect of what we do. So we look at climate change, management of water and water resources. We look at water stewardship, how much we use and how much we put back, the cleanliness of that water. We look at the use of chemicals and reduction in the use of chemicals, natural fertilizers, and reduce on too much use of fertilizers, synthetic fertilizers. We look at energy, especially green energy, and how much we use it. We look at matters of carbon emission, a very critical component of what we do, and many other environmental, including deforestation, reforestation, which is an important element for us to continue to do business. We appreciate that we have workers who we work with every day in our farms. So the welfare of those workers, including their wages, including their human rights, including their benefits, is something that we look at and the growers to be certified. They have to show that they're above board in terms of the way they manage this aspect, which we call social. We also work with communities, and in the communities where we work, we have a lot of CSR programs around water, education, health, infrastructure, many projects that we run with the farms together with the communities where we work. And that is something that we are very keen to continue supporting. Good agricultural practices is an important element of what we do. We always make sure that all the agronomical practices are brought into the sector, because without that, we don't have a sector going forward. So we are a very progressive industry. I don't think we have any other industry that could be probably as progressive as we are. We are well organized under Kenya Flour Council to make sure that this happens. Now, we are bringing in a lot of innovation. One of the challenges we've had in the last 2-3 years after COVID came is on the capacity of air freight. And therefore, we are looking at innovative ways in which we can fill that gap. At the moment, we have a huge gap in terms of capacity, but also the cost. So sea freight is coming in to help us. We are scaling up. It's not a new idea, it's an idea that has been there, but we're scaling up now with interest from almost everyone that is linked within this sector. There is a lot of interest in sea freight, and we see this as a game changer for us to be able to move more volumes and also to deal with the issue of carbon emission, which are two critical components. So with this, we have a vision that by 2030, 50% of our fresh produce, cut flours included, will be transported by sea. We are working with government institutions and entities that are linked with us. We are working with private sector entities within the value chain to ensure that everyone is well connected and has a place to play within the supply chain in making this a reality. That efficiency and cost that is likely to be cut down by the use of sea freight is something that we have a lot of interest in. Kenya Flour Council, we have signed a framework of cooperation with the embassy, Dutch embassy in Nairobi around sea freight. And we are well integrated with many of the institutions. We are taking lead on this, driving the sector towards adoption of this technology, plus many other technologies that we are bringing into the sector. So the industry is stable. We have a few challenges locally that include mostly on taxation, access to land, access to inputs, access to transport, because SGR, for example, and the railway that we want to use is not ready to support our sector. But we are working with government and government institutions, lobbying and advocating for better environment for us to do business. At the international level, we belong to many international organizations that support trade, especially in Europe. And we are looking at diversifying also to other new markets. We are looking at the East, from Australia to Japan, United Arab Emirates, Turkey, Korea, Malaysia, India. We are looking at Russia, save for the challenge that is there with the war that is ongoing, but is a major market for us. We are basically looking at the Americas, the US and Canada. We are looking at the intra-Africa trade using the intra-Africa free trade area agreement that we have signed with other African countries. So these are some of the areas we want to leverage on to be able to grow our business. Overall, I think we are doing very well. These challenges we know that we can be able to surmount with the partnerships that we have and the negotiations that are ongoing. So we ask everyone to come along. So we have a certification scheme that we run. This certification scheme is recognized in the world, is among the top 3 recognized certification schemes in the FSI basket of standards. And with that, when you certify you are able to access the markets, having proved that you have met all the requirements that are needed in the market. And so with this, we believe that the floriculture subsector is in good hands, working with the growers, exporters, and many other people in the supply chain, together with relevant government institutions. The sky is the limit for us.